This video is an overview demonstrating some functionality of a Chrome extension called CodeMirror. So just as some background information, FocalFuse.com was being developed on a very minuscule budget, so much so that SSL certificates and extra functionality were to be avoided until a proof of concept was gone through and the organization began generating income. So in that process, GoDaddy Windows hosting was used. When you enlist or enroll in the very basic Windows hosting package, they'll give you a Plesk hosting user interface to manage your configuration options, installations, and things like that. So that's what was decided upon for FocalFuse. So if you look at this UI, it's just a very basic UI with like a text editor. So when you actually go to edit the text, when you add in extra like tags and things like that, it doesn't actually format. So and there's no syntax highlighting and things like that. So what was developed is an extension called CodeMirror. And right now this is just being loaded from the desktop, as you can see, from this desktop. It's actually in the process of being submitted to the Chrome Web Store, so hopefully it'll become easier to obtain and from a verified source. So once we enable that, as you see here, you can go back to the GoDaddy user interface through Plesk hosting, and now you can see there's actually syntax highlighting. So along with that, there's also automatic formatting. So when you add new tags, it'll actually format them for you. Also, when there's like invalid values, it'll show those in red and things like that. So here was the web page, and now when we save it with this extra formatting and everything, so the file was saved successfully. We can go ahead and refresh, and now you can see where our new content is. So if we would like to update this, you'll see the color change to red. So RGB. So this is just again making it a little bit easier to develop applications on a very, very low budget to do the proof of concept. This specific extension only supports a PHP combination, so like HTML, PHP, JavaScript, and CSS, I believe. And that depends on some other functionality like XML, like internally within CodeMirror. So CodeMirror is actually a project developed by, I believe, like donation and volunteers, things like that. So basically this was just wrapped up in a Chrome extension, and then the PHP functionality, which includes the HTML, again JavaScript, CSS, and things like that, was enabled by default. Right now it doesn't support other languages like C# or Ruby on Rails or whatever other applications or platforms, development languages, frameworks, whatever you may be using. Right now this only supports PHP. It's fairly simple to enable other languages. That just hasn't been done yet. So if you're using Windows hosting and PHP, this as is right now will do like the formatting and syntax highlighting for you. There are plans to enable, I believe, C# next, and perhaps other languages after that, but as it stands right now, it's only PHP. So again, this was developed while developing FocalFuse, and is just a simple Chrome extension to allow the editing or a more efficient process for editing files related with PHP, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, things like that.